Okay, we had a little abbreviated intro there. Welcome back to my hardcore group of 7 viewers. Jonathan, Marco, Doris, Nelson, Jamie, and maybe Anna is just showing up a little late here. All right, well, today we are continuing our playthrough of Detective Box Woodlock University. It is 1:47 a.m. here in Champaign, Illinois. We've just finished Box 2 and Corsican. A little bit of rough. Each box has given us some frustrating moments, but you can't help but be impressed by a lot of this game. And this is a very ambitious game we're playing here. Pretty impressive, but I just wish these couple moments weren't quite so frustrating. We've taken a break, 15 minutes, gotten up, stretched, got new coffee, and now we're going to open up Box 3. We don't expect to finish Box 3 in this doubleheader session tonight, but we want to get far enough so that we can finish the game tomorrow evening. So here I have the 3rd episode in front of me. We're going to open up and see what we've got here. And Which puzzle in this box is going to cause me to lose it? We're going to find out. Socks, markers. What is this craziness? Marker pen numbered 1, marker pen number 2, marker pen number 3. Oh, they found markers from desks of the different suspects. One is from Alex's desk, Matt Radley's desk, and Greg Scott's desk. So are we going to be able to trace these to something? I see. Okay. All right, let's read our little welcome here. Agent, it would appear your investigation is coming along quite nicely. We're counting on you to swiftly bring this case to a close so we can provide the Coleman family with answers. In this box, you will find the latest items for the Woodlock investigation. We now only have 4 suspects left: Matt Radley, Kareem Collins, Greg Scott, and Alex Hatkins. Before we can press any charges, we must find evidence that exonerates all the other suspects first. The searches conducted in their dorms have thrown up new potential clues. I recommend you take some time to go over all the elements from this case so far, then get to work on this last box by conducting a chromatographic analysis. This should provide information about the identity of member Armstrong, as well as the identities of those present at the Copper Circle's emergency meeting on October 16. Please remember, we're always on hand to answer questions, question suspects, conduct searches on campus, and source police records. The agency is relying on your wit to identify the culprit and bring them to justice. All right, so most important thing is to exonerate all but one of these 4 suspects. All right, let's take a look at all of our evidence before we jump in to October 20th, those 3 days. What have we got? Analysis, chromatographic pigment separation. The document signed by member Armstrong was seized and sent to the lab. This report details analysis of the composition of the ink from the marker pen used to sign the document. Among the suspects, only Alex Hatkins, Greg Scott, and Matt Radley own marker pens that potentially match the one used by member Armstrong. These 3 markers are now in your possession. You may proceed with the chromatographic testing using the filter paper provided. Compare the findings to our lab analysis to determine who is, or at least who definitely is not, member Armstrong. So we've never seen this kind of analysis before, but it looks like we've got pens and markers. All right, let's see if we understand this. Now, we don't want to ruin this for future players if passing this along, but let's see. We've got 4 strips, but they're not labeled who they came from. Okay, that doesn't matter. These are generic strips. It's the pens we care about. So they are labeled. So we're going to be able to mark on a sheet, and we're trying to find if it looks like this. If it looks like this, it was the same pen that did that. So we are fairly certain, well, we think it's from Greg Scott. So 4 sheets. And I don't know. It's very interesting. Separation of ink in a saline solution. Okay. Well, let me just put these in here for now. Let's not do this yet. I'm a little concerned about preserving this for future players. Pretty neat, though. We've never seen this before. All right, and then here's a close-up of the knife used for the murder. This definitely looks like a male knife. A knife a male would use. Masculine knife. Knife found at the bottom of Lake Pelosi identified as the murder weapon. All right. A little symbol there. Looks like a little blur, like a what do you call that symbol? Could that be the symbol of the club? Fleur de lis. Fleur de lis. Okay. Here's a deposition of Alex. Are we going to get depositions of all of them? No, I guess not. After both her room and the victim's room were searched, Miss Hatkins asked for the following deposition to be included in the investigation's records. If the sock that was seized during the search turns out to be relevant to the case, I'd like to make it clear that even though it was found under my bed, it doesn't belong to me. I've never seen it before. I have no connections to the Wildcats soccer team, and I definitely did not leave it there. I have no idea how it got there. Thank you. Oh, very interesting. And there's her signature, A.H., Alex Hatkins. So she's talking about these socks. We got an actual pair of socks here. Okay. Let's see what else we got. A National Shoe Print Database. Okay. We haven't seen any shoe prints at any point yet, have we? So I don't know what those are in reference to. All right, here's a search warrant of Alex Hatkins and Henry Coleman. Remember, they're suite mates. So one of them lives here, Henry, I think. Or I don't know which one Henry and which one is Alex. I think this is Alex, where they found the socks. So let's see what we've got. The Milton Weekly. I guess we want to zoom up here. All right, what have we got? The sock is item 2. Milton Weekly, photo of tenant's shoes. Annotated photo of Michelle Obama, a shoe print there. Crossword puzzle. Some of these items are on the map, some aren't. A flyer, a sock is item Z. So there's a sock, I guess there, found in or under the bed. And then item Y, which is the flyer, is found in or under the drawer. Michelle Obama photo here. Milton Weekly here on this desk. I believe we wrote down that Henry Coleman is in 103B. somewhere. Yeah, Alex is in 103A. So Alex lives here. Henry lives here. And what have we got here? 15. Photo of tenant's shoes. And then footprints, footprints, footprints. So is this someone planting the socks under her bed? I see. Okay, so we've got footprints, photo of Alex's shoes and photo of Henry's shoes. And here's more photos. Let's see. Here's a photo of Alex's desk. They took the marker pen off her desk. Here's Kareem Collins, his desk. They didn't take anything. Greg Scott's desk. They took a marker pen. And Matt Radley's desk, marker pen. So let's get a closer look at these desks. This is Alex Hatkins. Plants, pen, laptop. Here is Greg Scott. Okay, looks like a gamer. What's this about? Oh, fox thing there. Got a little cup. I don't know what this is here. Here is Kareem Collins, who we definitely don't think is involved. Got some food. He does have a notebook, though. But here's Matt Radley's desk. He's the one I'm suspicious of. What has he got? Very messy desk here. Can't quite tell what's on his laptop. Pretty messy. Anything jump out at you here? Like, what is that tangle of wires? All right. And then we've got a whole bunch of shoes. Okay, and here we have National Shoe Print Database. Pretty cool. So somehow this, where was our other one? Here. Okay, so if you know from the what the shoes look like on the outside, here is what their prints look like. Pretty cool. Uh-huh. So what they found is that the shoe print right in front of Alex's bed actually has aerosol particles and sand particles, suggesting that they spray painted the signs outside the boathouse and maybe they went to the lake to throw away the knife or something. So suggestions that this might be whoever wore these shoes might have been the killer. No blood though, because I would expect to see some blood. All right, so we've got a total length and we've got a pattern. What pattern is it? Seems like we should be able to match that up right now. Looks like this one to me. Yeah, it kind of looks like this one, but it's a little ambiguous. Where are all those vertical lines? It's certainly not this one because of the lines, but it looks like a little circle at the bottom and a circle at the upper left. That doesn't look like these lines. Looks like this one to me with the lines missing here. But what about these? I guess these lines aren't part of it. E2. You think it's this one here? But how do you explain this gap here? You think that's what that gap is? Maybe you're right. Let's see. E2 has lots of vertical lines on the right-hand side and little tangent lines all the way around it. Now let's look at this one. Does this have the tangent lines? I guess it does. Yes, I guess it does have these tangent lines. Horizontal lines, and I guess we think there's a gap here with no lines. So how do I know it's not this one? I guess this one doesn't have much concentric circles here. And these concentric circles are are kind of oval. Whereas this looks much more circular, which seems like a better match for this. Can you count these lines? 1, 2. Feels like there's more lines here though, but maybe not. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. It's pretty close. What else could it be? It can't be this one because of this pattern. What about this pattern? No, that's clearly different. Clearly different. Really, the only ones it could be are this one and this one. And I agree with the chat that it's E2. Okay, so I agree it's E2. E2 is this one here. Okay, looks like white shoes, all white with a whole bunch of perforated holes at the tip. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 eyelets plus 1 set down at the bottom. So 6 eyelets total, 1 far at the bottom, and a whole bunch of perforated holes at the top. And no other shoe really looks like that. So can we spot those shoes here? Doesn't look like any of those, and it doesn't look like any of these. So it doesn't look like that shoe is present in any of the rooms. Could it be this one? Not really. Look at the eyelets there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. Okay, so it's not a match to any of the shoes found in their room. All right, let's see what else we got. Here's the crossword puzzle. I know how you like puzzles, so add me on Facebook if you fancy grabbing a drink. Founder of the North Gazette who went missing after its first number. Girl who acts like she's not interested in you but really is. Woodlock's country of origin. Place where the water is always flowing. Cause of your red rash in the first week of class. I swear it wasn't noticeable. Our dean's favorite author. Plant with a fatal cry that causes petrification. So when we fill out this crossword, we're going to get some yellow letters, which we can fill in here, which will give us someone's name to put to find on Facebook. Jamie says, hey, this is going to be Kareem's writing that Matt found in the notebook. That's an interesting idea. Let's see. Were we told where this was found? Sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. Yes. Let's see. L-I, and it's okay. So this isn't going to be Collins or Hatcliffe. It's going to be something long. So maybe this is going to be someone's Facebook alias or something. All right. Are we told where this was found? I'm not sure. Let's keep going here. We were told where that was found, wasn't it? It was because of this diagram said that the crossword puzzle was found at location 18, but that's not on the map. Is that right? Crossword puzzle 18, but we don't have an 18 here. That's kind of odd. All right, well, we won't worry about it for now. Okay, here's the annotated postcard picture of Michelle Obama. I managed to convince the photographer to send me this photo of your sister. What a great memento. When will the third Hatkins be joining us? Michelle is so looking forward to meeting you. Love, Mom. So I guess this is Alex Hatkins' sister meeting Michelle Obama. Not sure why this is relevant to our case, except to tell us whose room is whose. Okay, and then this looks like it may be one of the answers to the crossword puzzle. CN Tower, Toronto makes history. The idea of redrawing Toronto's skyline with the world's tallest tower had at times seemed far-fetched. However, after 40 months of construction, 130,000 cubic feet of concrete, the CN Tower, standing at over 1,800 feet and visible from the other side of Lake Ontario, is now complete. Nearly twice the height of the Eiffel Tower, it now holds the record for the world's tallest freestanding tower, eclipsing its nearest rival, the Sears Tower in Chicago, by nearly 400 feet. It will officially be opened on June 26th, later this month. This is from 1976. Monday morning, 11:45 broke out at Rosa Parks Elementary on Main Street. There were no fatalities reported, but 3 people were injured, with 1 remaining in critical condition. The cause of the fire is still unknown. All children were immediately evacuated With the fire being brought under control within the hour, damage to the school is estimated to have run into the tens of thousands. Principal Shortich has called on Milton's local community to make a donation to the fund set up in the wake of this incident. Robert Benzazi Seymour passed away peacefully on Tuesday. The local butcher is survived by his loving wife Harriet, son Alan, beloved mother Pearl, sister Bernice. His funeral will be held tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. at Smith's Funeral Home on Amsterdam Avenue. Instead of flowers, the family has asked for donations to be made to local hospices. Milton High's annual prom was held on Friday evening. The gym was beautifully decorated by volunteers from the Parent-Teacher Association. After a wonderfully festive evening, votes were counted, and Michelle and Tom were crowned prom king and queen. Congratulations to the young lovebirds. Community events. As always, we bring you all the best upcoming events happening in our town. Next weekend, enjoy the warm summer weather at Jacobs Park. I wonder if we're going to look in the police archives for 1976 or something. The chat is thinking more deeply. Okay. Henry's parents at the prom. Michelle and Tom were crowned prom king and queen. Well, Tom is definitely the first name of our teacher. How do you know this is? I like the idea. Michelle is so looking forward to meeting you. Michelle Obama is Michelle here. Photo of your sister. What a great memento. When will the third Hatkins be joining us? Are they saying that Alex is pregnant? Interesting. I think they're talking about Alex Hatkins and Michelle Obama. But we did have an interview with the mother. All right. Well, it doesn't seem all that relevant anyway, regardless of who's who. So let's put these items away for now. And let's see what we've got here. Crumpled up flyer retrieved from dorm room 103B. This is going to be Henry's room. And socks from 103A, which is Alex Hatcliffe's room. Okay, it says 7-8, whatever that means. Wildcat's sock. I don't see anything in it or any blood or anything. But she says if it's important. So there's one sock. So you could imagine if we find another sock somewhere, that would be relevant. But otherwise, it doesn't look. So this is soccer, Wildcat soccer. Not sure how this is relevant to us. All right, let's take a look at this. So we were told there was some dust up at the first aid class, and this is a first aid thing. Introduction to CPR and Wilderness First Aid, mandatory for all sophomores, Wednesday, October 16th, from 2:15 to 3:30 in Esperanto Hall. And look, it's a fleur-de-lis. Annual training is organized by the New York Scouts and overseen by the Dean of Student Life. Now this looks like the little scout symbol. It's got a rope with a knot at the bottom. So, oops, I wonder if it's not meant to tell us that the knife is from the first aid group. What's on the back of this? How long you planning on lying for, you son of a bitch? Stay away from us or I'll rat you out to Caro. How long are you planning on lying for? Stay away from us or I'll rat you out to Caro. I mean, it sure sounds like this is a note that someone gave Henry threatening him. And saying, I'm going to tell your girlfriend. All right, so we have handwriting here. But whose handwriting is it? And why does he want to stay away from us? What does that mean? Stay away from us or I'll rat you out to Caro. We know that Greg is the one that did rat them out to Caro, or at least we think. We're not sure. We do know that Matt and Henry got into a fight at first aid class. This looks like the handwriting of MK, though, doesn't it? But then it was also the handwriting of Matt Radley. We couldn't really tell the difference. So is this Matt Radley's handwriting? And who's us, though? Wow, it does not feel like we have enough here to solve this case. Let's see, though, if we got more internet documents become available to us now. So we go to box 3 and we say continue. Okay, so this crazy, intense woman's going to give us a little bit of information. Maybe she's going to have more police archives and stuff for us.
Detective, Raphael has been impressed with your latest findings. Well done. So, let's just go over everything to see where we currently stand with the case.
Okay.
Thanks to our questioning of Caroline Sheridan as well as Henry's Sword of Damocles, we discovered that Henry had a secret relationship with a person called MK, or Mary K. We were led to believe that they met in secret on Monday, October 15th. We were able to identify this person by analyzing the postcard. The tower in the background, the Cowboys logo, and the Texas sticker on the car window all suggested that the postcard had been sent from Dallas. When consulting the yearbook, we saw that only one student comes from Dallas. Kareem Collins. While being questioned, Kareem confirmed he'd been seeing Henry in secret. I also asked you to identify the person who wrote the congratulatory note found in Henry's backpack. To do this, you had to unlock Henry's voicemail. Fortunately, and thanks to Kareem, we discovered that Henry kept his passwords on small pieces of paper. And while looking inside his pen, we found his password, which gave us access to his voicemail. The voicemails threw up many interesting leads. Notably, a message from a certain Tom asking to meet Henry on the day of his murder. By retracing Henry's steps on that day, we discovered that he'd made an unforeseen detour to meet Thomas Young, his biological father. Mr. Young revealed that he'd recently reconnected with Henry and given him a watch to congratulate him for being selected for the White House internships. This was probably the watch that Henry was wearing at the time of his death, as Kareem mentioned when questioning. Another major breakthrough was related to Caroline, who spoke about a suspicious individual who she came across on the night of the murder. This encounter was recorded by accident. Despite Caroline not remembering the exact location of this, we were able to retrace her steps thanks to an exchange she had with Miss McCowie. Then, while searching Lake Pelosi, we found several knives, one of which we believe to have been discarded by the killer. We were able to identify the murder weapon by comparing the imprint on the knife's blade with the peculiar markings left near the body. We've included a photo of this in the latest box. Now to the suspects again. We know that Kareem also visited the scene of the crime that week, making him another suspect. However, thanks to the deposition from Caroline and Kareem's interrogation, we now know that Caroline was at the boathouse on Monday evening. The security system only has one entry locked for her ID card, and it wasn't on the night of the murder. What's more, as you well observed, Marie Grace's signature on her deposition looked similar to the signature of Artemis, a member of the Copper Circle. As she only entered the building once that week and was there on Tuesday, she can't be the killer either. Finally, the number found on the wrapper of Henry's chewing gum was for the Woodlock Police Fraud Department. When we consulted the call registry, we learned that Arthur McDouglas is in fact Regan from the Copper Circle. Just like Marie Grace, he was also present at the Tuesday meeting, ruling them both out as suspects. And that's where we stand on this investigation. We've added Kareem to the list of suspects. But we can now remove Caroline, Marie, and Arthur from it. So, good luck with the rest of the investigation, Detective.
All right. Now, let's see what this says
Four
here.
suspects review all the evidence we've gathered since the start of the case and build a more accurate profile of the murderer. This may help us rule out certain people as suspects.
I mean, feel fairly confident that it's Matt who made the fake call, who's setting this all up. So I do think it's going to end up being Matt, but okay, so some things popped up on the screen that are now gone, so we don't know what that's about. But let's see if there's any new police stuff here. Same stuff here. Okay, so it does look like there's video for us to watch here.
We're here inspecting Alex Hatkins' dorm. We found a shoe print, and that must be the victim's blood.
Oh, okay. So there is blood on those shoes.
And what's that? A wildcat sock? Who could it belong to? Right. I'm sending over this for analysis. I hope it throws up something useful.
Oh, maybe they're going to find something on it. Okay, can someone explain to me how 3 days later there's bloody footprints next to her bed
We're
that she
here
hasn't cleaned
inspecting
up
Alex
or
Hatkin's
hasn't
door.
mentioned? This is like 3 days later. Okay. 3 days later, there's bloody shoe prints. Some dust. I'm not sure what
We
that's
found a
about.
shoe print.
Like, why no one cleaned this up? We do know Matt has the key to their dorm. That's a great reminder. Good point, Nelson. I just don't understand how there's still a bloody footprint there. All right, let's look at what it says about the pens. All right. I don't see why it's showing us that. Like we already have those pens. That seems a little weird. Maybe they weren't sure whether they were going to give you those pens. Well, all right, let's we could conduct the search, question someone, build a profile of the murderer. It seems like there's only two things here. The murderer is freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior. The murderer's dominant hand. Interesting. Looks like only two questions here for this final box. All right. Well, this is kind of strange. I find this a little strange. So this feels like it shouldn't be relevant to us. I wonder if this is going to give someone an alibi. I wonder if this is going to be from Kareem Collins, and it's going to be his Facebook page. And if we look it up, the Facebook page is going to give him an alibi. John says, I'm guessing we're supposed to learn the murderer's class year using the first aid flyer. It says only sophomores take it. That's mandatory for all sophomores. Doesn't say only sophomores take it, but it does say mandatory for all sophomores. So it does seem like it might be reasonable to assume it would be a sophomore. That's where the knife, not really though. It really could be any year you could keep that knife. Anyone from any year. Only the freshmen wouldn't have it. And we can't search Matt's room. I have no connection to the Wildcats soccer team. I definitely did not leave it there. Boy, this is a little strange situation to find ourselves in. I mean, as far as handedness, we've got our original autopsy, which seemed to show, like, do we just answer it and say it's a sophomore because of the knife and it's a right-handed killer because we think that they held them down with their left hand and cut the neck with the right hand? So it's just a right-handed sophomore just on that basic information? What are we doing with all this evidence then? So is that it? Are we just answering it's a sophomore who's right-handed? Or could this killer be trying to disguise the entire murder scene? We've got shoes. Maybe we should be searching the lake for shoes. Jamie says, this is going to sound weird. If Henry actually did make the call, then Alex would have the most to lose because it looks like her family was the circle connection for the internships. Oh, that's the good question. That's an interesting idea. If Alex made the call. Boy, we were really convinced that it was a fake call, but it's an interesting point. Hmm. Let me just try for fun because while we're here, let me ask this crazy woman to do a search in the same lake that you found the knife for some shoes. You don't like that, huh? How about you search this lake for some shoes? Okay, this is weird. I like your idea. I like your observation that Alex could be the connection. Sneakers or sock you want to search for? This is just weird. It feels like just a wild goose chase. I mean, I guess I'll search for this lake where the knife was found. You want to search for sock? Doesn't like that. Sneakers. Surely no difference between sneakers and shoes. Yeah, this is weird. Okay, well, let's think about it for a second. We could just answer that first question, and maybe that will give us more information. We could test the pens, which would tell us who Armstrong is, but we think we know what answer that's going to be. But it could be just someone framing Alex. And we could solve the crossword puzzle, which will give us a Facebook page. Which will give someone an alibi. But we don't quite know what to make of this sock. What does this mean? 7, 8. Does that mean the size? I think this is the size of the sock. 7, size 7 or 8. I don't know how that helps us. What a weird situation this is. Let's do this. Let's try answering this question. Sophomore right-handed. And if it's wrong, then we'll take a step backwards. If it's right, then it's just a straightforward thing. So I'm going to click confirm here. Boy, there's something I really don't, that really rubs me the wrong way about this question and answer stuff. All right, so we weren't supposed to do that. It says it's overseen by the Dean of Student Life. I guess maybe it wants us to talk to the Dean of Student Life. The Dean of Student Life is Maxwell Taylor. All right, let's go ask for an interview of Maxwell Taylor. Maybe they can tell us some information. I'm not sure what they're going to tell us. All right.
Hello, Mr. Taylor. Were you the organizer of the first aid course? The one that took place on the day of Henry Coleman's death?
Yes, I lead the training programs in association with our Scouts team.
Do you recognize this knife? We noticed the Scouts logo on it.
Yeah, of course. It's ours. Where'd you find it? It's the knife we use to show wilderness first aid techniques. There's only one of them. We don't let students hold it, but after Wednesday's session, it went missing. We couldn't find it.
It was the murder weapon.
Shit!
Who could have got their hands on it, do you think?
Anyone at the session. I should have paid more attention.
Do you have a list of the people at the training?
It's easy. All the sophomore students and the medical staff. We don't let anyone else in.
So a junior couldn't have had access?
That's impossible.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
All right, so I guess that's ruling out Greg, because Greg is the one who's an older classmate. But do we? I don't know why we're dropping frames. We're dropping frames. Okay. So do we think now that we still get to answer this the same way? But it just wanted us to verify that first? I'm going to switch over to the computer screen and let it drop frames and see if it solves itself. So if it's dropping frames, don't panic. All right, so I think you can hear me, but it's still dropping frames. Something about the computer occasionally, this laptop seems to freak it out. I just want to see if I can figure out what it is. So you can hear me, right? But it's just dropping video frames. Is it ever going to fix itself? Why is this is new? I guess we don't use the laptop that much. How do I convince this thing to not do this? What if I switch? The reason I'm sticking with this, even though it's glitching, is I need to figure out how to fix this, and it's so random. If I switch to the tablet, or if I switch to something else, can I convince it to stop? So if we switch to tablet, it's still glitching out. So it's like the capture card for this doesn't matter. It doesn't fix itself. It's not the laptop that's doing it, because even when I switch to the tablet, it's having the same problem. That suggests to me that it's the capture card interface. So let's try this. Let's try. Boy. Okay. All right. So I'm going to try turning on and off this adapter from OBS. And let's see if I can't make it fix itself that way. If we crash, you know what to do. You just restart. Oh boy, this is pretty painful. Okay, but at least I got to this. So let's see what happens if I turn it off. Same problem, turn it on. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm going to deactivate this thing. Okay, so we may get this whole thing may crash now, so get ready. Okay, so I think it's fixed now. I think. Nope, it's back. Oh boy. think maybe we should stop here. It feels like we don't have 6 hours worth of content left. And I'll just sit here and see if I can play with this and figure out how to make this stop dropping frames. So if I turn off this video capture device, then the frames stop dropping. So it's definitely this device. Why is it? We're gonna stop here. We're just end this session here. You guys can sign off. I'm just gonna sit here and play with this for the rest of this to see if I can't figure out something that will convince it to stop skipping frames. This should be the screen. So I'll see you all tomorrow evening. Want me to officially end it so you know it's over? All right, now I'll be back here for a while trying to see if I can figure out how to fix this. You can probably still hear me. The only reason I'm still doing this now is because I can't, it's so random that I can't try to trigger it on my own later. So I have to take this opportunity to try to fix it while we're live here, which is ridiculous, but okay. So I'll just talk through it a little bit as I'm doing it. So I have several capture cards, different ports for each. I've changed this to a different port of this capture card, and I'm going to see if, now if I reset OBS, it would be all fixed, which is precisely why I can't afford to reset OBS. But I've switched ports now, and it's still dropping. So we're going to try something different. It's interesting that it's still dropping, even though it's not even connected. All right, let me see this now. We tried 3 and 4. Let me see what else is on this card. What is 1? Nothing. What is 0? 0 is the front camera. And what? And the front camera is now freaked out? Boy, that's weird. So, oh, that is weird. So, it's not dropping frames. It's not dropping frames when I'm strictly on this. 24 feet FPS. Device default. Okay, but if I switch to this, which is the same thing, now it's dropping. Why would that be? 24 film, full auto detect. Oh, I can't see that. That's bizarre. Use hardware decoding. Still dropping. Something else on this display? Not that. Wait, what's the difference? So if you're watching this, our stream has ended. I am just trying to solve this OBS problem that is happening for reasons I don't understand. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it's on every V4 screen. So actually, look, it's not skipping any frames here. It is skipping frames here. It's skipping frames here. It's skipping frames here. It's skipping frames here. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not skipping frames here. What is the common feature? It is skipping here. But not here. What is the difference? What is the difference? It is skipping here. It isn't. It is skipping here. But it's not skipping here. Why would that be? Why is it not skipping here? Oh, why? This is the easiest thing for it to render. Why would it? Okay, let's try this. Let's try copying, making a duplicate of this scene. You can't see what I'm doing, that's okay. I need a keyboard for this. Oh. Just put the cat there on the table. All right, so what am I doing? I'm made a copy of this scene. I'm going to switch over to my editing view. You can't see anything different. I made a copy of this scene so I can start deleting sources on this scene to see if any of them make a difference. Green close up. Doesn't make a difference. Does it? Cursor overlay. Even when I turn it off, no, now it is. Turn it on, okay, what if I boy, this is bizarre. There's nothing in this scene but this one video cap 3. Video cap. Okay. It's just, it is a different, it is different. Let's see, where was the one that it wasn't happening for? Where was the scene that was doing it? This one? Is this the one that should have been skipping but wasn't? This is the one that was should have been skipping but wasn't. Should have been skipping but wasn't. Tablet insert. Tablet insert. On grabbing from. On grabbing from. Tablet insert. But here, what is that? Here, what is that? Video Cap 3. It's a clone of Video Cap 3. That's interesting. That's interesting. So the clone doesn't buffer. So the clone doesn't could buffer. Probably fix it by cloning it. Fix it by cloning it. But that's quite bizarre. Quite bizarre. But okay. But okay. All right. So there's one trick. So there's that one I could use to solve the problem. Use an OBS clone source. For Video Cap 3. Let's try the other thing. All right. Well, at least that solves a bit of one mystery. While this screen isn't buffering, even though it's showing it. And now, if I go here, we get the problem, which is long-standing. Now, I have actually changed the V4 source. So if I switch over to let's see what any of these do. Decklink Video Capture 2 looks blank. Video Capture 4. Like, what capture card is it that's plugged into? So actually I have two capture cards. Not now. Okay, so now it's reading from the other capture card and it's still dropping frames. Is that right? What on earth? How could that be? Well, that makes no sense. Wow, that makes no sense. Now I'm on a totally separate capture card. Oh, that's weird. Is it because it's confused about... Just bizarre. Boy, that's strange. Um, how about this? Wow, I'm really confused. How about insert? This is the clone. For some reason, the clone doesn't have problems. What does that mean? Is it dropping frames anyway, though? No, it looks fairly smooth. Well, I mean, I know one way to work around it, but it's a bizarre workaround. Is it because... Oh. So here it's going to be dropping frames again. Yes. Okay. But the bizarre part is I changed capture cards completely. So how is it that this problem is persisting regardless of the capture card? That is the truly bizarre thing. Let's try something else. Okay, if I turn this off, do we still have drop frames? Yes. Hmm. All right. What if we add a new... Let's reset this. Let's look at the properties. Okay. All right, so we're not dropping frames now that I'm not showing it. As soon as I camera's not broken. We're just experimenting with possibilities. Okay, so this one is glitching, but if I go here, and then I paste reference, I can't do that, don't want to do that. Okay, so I got two theories here to consider. One is to change the clone and see if that does it. That's what I'm particularly curious about. So this one doesn't glitch out. If I change this to say clone this one, it's a clone of this. All right, so now we don't get the glitch. And it's also video cut 3 and oh, that was weird. Now insert. Yes, okay, that's what I wanted to see. So now if I go to So it looks like I can fix the problem by taking a duplicate source. I just have to make a duplicate source for every scene that's showing the tablet. I don't know if the problem's going to happen to that duplicate source again. The alternative would be to add a clone. Add a source clone. Mm. Right. Audio. Okay. So now I'm using a clone of the source instead of the actual source. Doesn't seem to have the problem. Says the benefit of me being able to change it easily. If I go and change it to dupe, everything looks the same. Does it still do audio? Here. And play some audio from this. The audio sounds okay. Let's see if the full video and audio
We're
works
here
okay.
inspecting Alex Hatkin's dorm.
No missed frames. You can hear it okay.
We found a shoe print.
Oh, except now I can't hear
that
it,
must
and
be the
that's
victim's blood.
because of this. How about monitor and output? Let's try that.
And what's that?
Come on, guys.
A wildcat sock? We're here inspecting Alex Hatkin's dorm.
Oh, I need to.
We found a shoe print. And that must be the victim's blood.
Filters. It's probably when I.
And what's that? A wildcat sock? Who could it belong to?
Okay. Oops.
Right. I'm sending over this for analysis. I hope it throws up something useful.
Okay, and this is going to be our dropping frames. Oh, now it's not dropping frames anymore. Now has it fixed itself? I think it's totally fixed itself randomly. That's all right. I already caught you. Filters. Oh, surely I adjusted the gain on that, though.
We're here inspecting Alex Hatkin's dorm.
Oh, I know I
He's
set a
only
gain on
shivering.
this. Give me a break,
And
guys.
that must be the victim's blood.
Why is there no gain? Ah, boy.
And what's that?
Let me go to.
Hello, Mr. Radley. Could you tell me a bit about your relationship with Henry?
Hello, yes. Henry was my best friend here. Had been since the very first day here. I didn't have any of the required books, so Henry volunteered to lend me his. We did everything together.
I'm okay. Okay. So why is my tablet insert? Maybe I added a filter to this. Boy, this is okay. Okay. All right. So first problem is that it has now the problem has now gone away. So I no longer have access to testing it, which is why I've been on this stream the whole time, so I could try to fix this while it was happening. Somehow I've also seemed to have I don't see the gain anymore that I surely set. Well, if the bug is gone, then there's no reason for me to live stream this. I can do everything else manually. Yeah, everything's fixed itself now, but for no reason. So now I have to decide how I avoid this happening again. I've also got this problem with the tablet. So last time, the tablet volume was low, so I adjusted the gain, and now I cannot see where that gain is. Like I should.
I just can't understand who would do this.
I
Henry
should
was
be.
such a harmless guy. Things would be the same without him.
Do you know what he was doing last night?
Do you
Why
hear?
was he in Building 29?
Let me ask you a question. Do you hear it do you hear it like sounding like
Maybe
it's
they were meeting there for some privacy. It's the only reason people
like
go
the
there.
audio sounds like it's glitching a little bit, like digital.
Of course, it's 357-256.
So no one goes there. Were
You
there
guys hear that odd
No,
digital,
I
or
was-
is it just my
Lying won't make you hear.
As I was saying,
Audio.
people often have sex there.
is it
away from
just
prying
these
eyes.
wireless
Okay,
headphones?
Maybe I went there with earlier.
What's your
My other
girlfriend's name?
headphones. No, it
Marie
sounds good
Grace.
for you.
Okay, we'll check that out.
Okay, so
Caroline told us that Henry had
see
gone
if I
out to
can do
celebrate
it
being
this way.
selected for the White House internships. Was that not with you?
No, he told me he was going to spend the night with her.
okay, so those are
Maybe
the
he wanted to
wireless
see someone else. be honest,
earbuds that are
I think he was
causing
hiding things
that.
from
All right, that's a
Caroline. He'd
separate
always
problem.
be
I don't have to
sneaking
worry
out.
about that.
Was he cheating on
All
her?
right, so I got
Yeah,
a couple
rumor
things here.
had
I
it
don't
he
know
was
what.
getting
Maybe
paid
I.
elsewhere.
I wonder if I
Valentine would often be
deleted.
seen
That's what
around
I did. I
photos in
deleted the
Building
gain
29.
filter. Okay,
Some thought
so
he was
I
with
did.
Katrina, one of
Okay,
Henry's
oh,
friends.
all right. At least
In
that's
fact,
one mystery
Gray,
solved.
her boyfriend,
While I
supposedly asked Henry to
was
stop hanging out with her because of
while
the
I was
rumors.
trying to fix it, I
What's this
deleted the
Greg's surname?
gain
No
filter
idea.
that I had
He's a
added.
junior. He's also a member of my
Okay, but
fraternity,
I didn't wasn't
we
making
call him
sense
Greg's
that
dad.
was an
He's
audio
absolutely
gain.
huge.
So now I'm
Head
going
of
to
the
put
rowing
that
team.
back to
Not a
what
fan
it
of Henry at
was.
all.
Where could we find his surname?
Okay, at least
There was a
that's
race
one
this
mystery
weekend.
solved.
They may have mentioned him in the race report.
Okay.
So,
But if Henry wasn't with you,
I mean,
where were
if
you
you're
last
sitting
night?
here,
I
you're
was
just
studying in the
bored or
common
having
room of
trouble
Building
sleeping,
L2.
so I'll
We have
just
exams
explain it
soon,
a little
and
bit. You can't
it's easier
see
to
what's
study there
happened,
than
though,
in my
but
room.
the
I stayed
tablet
there all
source,
evening and went back to my parents' house around
the
10:30
tablet
p.m.
comes in
Could someone
on
vouch for your
one
presence in Building L2?
I bumped
line.
into a blonde girl as I was walking into the
Tablet
building
comes
around
into a
7
capture
p.m., but
card, what
I
I
don't know
call
who she is.
V4.
Apart from her, I was completely...
Sorry. Okay, so the V4 from the tablet is what was glitching, causing frames to drop. But the other thing I have set up for that tablet is that sometimes the audio was coming in too low. So I've added a filter to boost the audio up, and then somehow I wasn't seeing it, and that's because I deleted it by accident while trying to fix it. So now this
alone.
audio
I
should
can't
be a
really
little
concentrate with
louder
people around.
Okay. So you
than
live
it
with your
was
parents?
a couple a
Yeah,
minute ago.
I'm lucky. We're really
And
close,
let
so
me just make
no
sure
need to
I
pay
can
rent.
hear it okay.
Do you know of anyone else who may have held a grudge with Henry?
There was some major tension between him and Alex, his sweet
Okay,
mate.
so that's fine.
But
So the
that
audio
doesn't
is
surprise me
fine on
seeing how
that.
crazy she is.
All
Rumor
right,
has it she
so
drove her
that's
little brother to
that.
suicide.
Now,
You should check out.
the dropped frame bug looked like it was anything coming in on... I can actually show you the screen that I see. If I can find it. Where's my OBS screen? I have a screen here to show you what I see in front of me. But maybe it's here somewhere. OBS. Okay, you can see what I can see here a little bit. If you're curious, it's not exactly what I see, but it's a little bit of what I see here. So unfortunately, I can't change screens or you won't see it happen, but essentially, whoops, okay. Yeah, so essentially, the video 3, which is, you can't see it. Anyway, so the tablet, the video coming in from the tablet was occasionally gets into some confused state where it starts dropping frames randomly. And I tried moving it to a different physical capture card, and that didn't fix the problem. So something in OBS is bugging out, and it looks like that video source gets corrupted and starts dropping frames, but it's not really predictable. But I can see from my experiments, it looks like that I have a couple workarounds. One seems pretty like it's going to be pretty reliable, which is to use a cloned source. For whatever reason, the cloned source was not experiencing that glitch. So I think what I'm going to do, since it only seems to happen with this one, on this one V4 capture line, HDMI capture, I think what I'll do is I'll go to all the scenes that are bringing in data from that laptop line and take all the sources, like this one here in the upper left, and have them use clone sources. Clone source is a plugin by a developer named Exceldro. And it's possible something else is going on, but that seems like an easy enough switch fix. It doesn't seem to have any bad side effects. And maybe that will fix the problem going forward. What do I just have to remember? Has this got the filter on it? No. Let me see if is this audio as loud as the other one was?
I have no idea.
No,
He told
this
me he
has
was
still
going to
got
meet
the low
Caroline.
audio.
Maybe they were meeting there for some privacy.
right?
the only
That
reason people go
audio
there.
is a different
Could you tell me
audio
your
volume
student ID
than
number, Mr.
this,
Radley?
right?
Of course, it's 357-256.
So no one goes there. Were you there recently?
No, I wasn't.
I can
Lying
see
won't
it
help you
is.
here.
As I was saying, people often have sex there.
Okay,
away
that's
from
okay. I
prying
can fix
eyes.
that. I just
Okay,
add a gain
maybe I went
onto
there with
this
my
one as
girlfriend
well.
earlier in the week.
What's your girlfriend's name?
Marie Grace.
Okay, we'll check that out. Caroline told us that Henry had gone out to celebrate being selected for the White House internships. Was that not with you?
No, he told me he was going to spend the night with her. Maybe he went
Now
to
it
see
should be
someone
about
else.
the same
To be
volume.
honest, I think he was hiding things from Caroline. He'd always be sneaking out.
Was he cheating on her?
Yeah, rumor had it he was getting laid elsewhere. The rowing team would often see him around the boathouse, Building 29. Some thought it was with Katrina, one of Henry's friends. In fact, Greg, her boyfriend, supposedly asked
All
Henry
right,
to stop hanging out with her
so
because of the rumors.
I may be able to
What's
fix
this
us from
Greg's
ever
surname?
experiencing that
No
again
idea.
by
He's a
changing
junior.
all
He's also a member of my
my
fraternity, but
views
we call him
of
Gregster.
the
He's absolutely huge, head
tablet
of the rowing team.
input.
Not
which
a
is
fan of
not-
Henry
it's
at
a
all.
laptop or
Where
a
can we
tablet,
find
depending
his
on what I
surname?
have connected.
There was a race this weekend. They may have mentioned him in
Maybe
the race
that will
report.
solve it. It's a bit of a workaround
But if Henry wasn't with you, where were you
around
last
what's
night?
obviously
I was studying
an
in the common
OBS
room of
bug.
Building L2. We have exams soon, and it's easier to study there
Hopefully
than in
that
my
will
room.
fix it.
I stayed
All
there
right,
all
well, I'd say thank you for sticking around with me, but I didn't ask you to stick around, so I can't thank you for that. But thank you for your help in tracking down this. If you're still here, tomorrow we'll be playing the final box of this. Hopefully we won't have any more glitches. I mean, I've been doing this for 4 years. Sometimes you got to do this kind of stuff. All right, thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.